Hello everyone, welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you 4 of my best tips for tomorrow's racing. Now before we get stuck into those, quickly just want to recap on how our selections performed today, and also as well just got something to update you on. Now first of all, we'll start with the recap. It was a frustrating day for us today, as the only tip that really gave us a run for our money was a Goe de Brouillet to Catterick in the opening race there. Pretty much stayed around the same price of 12 to 1 throughout much of the last 24 hours, so it wasn't a real drifter in the market, but it wasn't well fancied, so yeah, a little bit of a negative there. However, I thought he travelled well for a long way. He did make 1 or 2 mistakes as fences, but turning into the straight he looked like he had every chance still to make the frame, but in the end he just lacked the gears to go with the leaders, and in the end tailed off and finished in 5th place. So yeah, disappointing there from Goe de Brouillet. Our next best of the day, Ronald Pump, was a non-runner in the Christmas hurdle at Leopardstown, so if you backed him singly like these tips are advertised at, you would have got your money back, so yeah, that's okay there. And then the other selection, our nap of the day in Surplus, who ran in the 5:35 at Newcastle, in the end got pulled up. He went wrong. It didn't look very good at all. Ollie Stammers did the correct thing, pulled him up halfway down the run-in, and in the end, yeah, it had to be pulled up. And there hasn't been any news after the race if he's okay, but it didn't look good. Really, it's never nice when you see things like that. So I hope in Surplus is okay. But yeah, if you're wondering why in Surplus didn't turn up, it's because something was found to be wrong with him, but obviously we haven't heard any news yet, so fingers crossed for Jim Goldie and all associated with him, that horse in Surplus is going to be okay. So yeah, that's how our selections performed today. Also as well, I know some of you that have joined me over the last few days might be frustrated with the results here over the last couple of days since Boxing Day. I will admit it hasn't been our finest hour. Okay, yesterday wasn't too bad, but yeah, today obviously not very good, and Boxing Day wasn't good either. But before that, going into Christmas, we have been in a bit of good form. But the way racing goes, especially as well when you do tipping or anything like that, or if you're a punter, you know you're going to have your ups and your downs. I actually have made a few quid away from these videos, which I'm a little bit frustrated that I wasn't able to share that knowledge with you. But yeah, it's just the way it goes. But since we started recording the profit and loss, since I returned to my YouTube channel earlier this year, back in June, before then I was doing mainly writing, I have been recording profit and loss since the 1st of June, and we are well up for the year. I will admit the last couple of months have been, again, like I said, up and down. You know, it hasn't been our finest part of the year, so yeah, a little bit frustrating of late, but hopefully we can end the year on the high. We've got a few more days now, and as I'm going to be staying on my YouTube channel for 2021, I will be changing the staking system, and I'll explain that as we enter the new year. I'll do some graphics on the screen for you, and you'll hopefully be able to understand the new point system, so it won't hopefully get too confusing for all you guys. But there is a profit and loss in the description box below, and also as well a really basic way of how I calculate it. So yeah, that's the news going forward into 2021. Anyway, enough of me waffling on. Let's get to the tips, what you all want to watch for tomorrow. And like I said, we've got 4 of my tips tomorrow. No each ways tomorrow. All of these are going to have to win on the nose. And we're going to be starting in the 12:20 at Newbury with a mare's handicap hurdle. And I thought Mystic Dreamer had a really solid chance to be for Worsley, claiming 5. And she's riding for her boss, Nick Gifford. You can currently back this horse at the time of recording at 9-2, and I thought this was quite a big price for this horse, and I thought really she should be favourite on what she's achieved so far. Now if you go back and watch the race last time at Exeter, she absolutely hosed up, beating Sue Gardner's Trans Express, who's no mug, especially round Exeter. He's a bit of a course specialist, and he's boosted that form by winning a couple of weeks ago at the Devon venue. So yeah, a lot to like about that performance. Now the handicapper has had his say and raised her to a mark of 116, but I still think it's a very workable mark. And with Tabitha claiming 5, I think she's good value for a 5. She's quite a nice stylish rider. I think that's definitely going to help. Now some of her form as well coming into this race is very good. If you actually go back to her 8th place finish at Lingfield when she needed the run. That race featured Robin Gold, who you might remember was the horse that Bridget Andrews absolutely came there cruising on the bridle that day. Looked a bit Spencer-esque and came with a late finish, and that was a decent, like I said, race for the grade. That was the mare's race that day at Lingfield, but then she took on the boys last time out at Exeter, and she's slipping back in here to Mare's Company tomorrow. There's quite a few horses in here that I think aren't either well treated or really have to bounce back quite a lot, where I think our selection, Mystic Dreamer, is a very solid option and represents a good bit of value. Panic Attack is a horse that I am still interested in, but hasn't shown the ability she did when she was a bumper horse for Willie Mullins. You might remember she absolutely hacked up on her UK debut when trained by Willie in a listed bumper at Market Raisin, but she hasn't lived up to expectations since then. But I really like the profile of this horse, Mystic Dreamer, and I wonder maybe if they're going to have a crack with her at the mare's finale race at Newbury, which takes place on their last day of their jumps calendar in March. So yeah, a lot to like about Mystic Dreamer tomorrow, and I think at 9-2 she's a good bet, and I'm just going to put her up as one of my extra tips tomorrow. I think she'll go very well, and I can see her taking all the beating and being a little bit shorter come post time. So that's going to be our opening tip of the day. We then go to Doncaster for the nap of the day. I should have said as well, they're going to be holding an inspection at Newbury tomorrow, so fingers crossed it does get passed. I'm hopeful it will. They're having an inspection at 8:30, so yeah, that's when we'll know if it will be on or not. So yeah, make sure you check Twitter and the racing media channels to see if it's going ahead. But yeah, moving back to the nap, going to Doncaster. The nap of the day runs in the mare's listed chase at Doncaster, the 145. Now, this was a quality race last year. You might remember we had Happy Diva, Lady Buttons, Le Bagois. I remember it was a cracking finish, and I'm hoping our horse will be able to win this race this year, and that is Annie Mac for John Joe O'Neill and Richie McClernand in the colours of the Coral Group. Now, this horse has a bit of an association with Love Island's Chris Hughes, who always is going on about this horse, tweeting about her. And to be fair to the horse, she's been a really good servant for Connections over the last couple of seasons. She's really taken them to some good races, and she's been running in some decent races. Now, the last time we saw her, she finished 5th in the Caspian Caviar Gold Cup, staying on really strongly, and that was a pretty warm race, you have to say, won by Mick Winter's horse, Chatham Street Lad. So yeah, it was a really good race, and she was powering on up the hill in the finish. But that, like I said, was a really warm race, and this is going to be the first time she's been taking on her own sex for quite a while. Her last time she took on her own sex was when she was doing a lot of winning at Bangor. She was racking up a sequence of wins as a novice chaser, competing in some of those mares novice events, but Connections thought she was better than that and decided to roll the dice against the big boys. She actually ran, I think it was in the Marsh Chase at the Cheltenham Festival, you know, so was taking on some of the best around. Now, I think, like I said, going back into Mare's Company tomorrow, I think will really suit her. Also, as well, a good thing about her coming in here is she's going to have to, she's not going to be carrying any penalties at all. So I think that's going to be in her favour. She's going to be getting weight off the likes of Casablanca next, who does have some questions to answer, in my opinion. And also, as well, Nicky Henderson's team haven't quite been at their best. Okay, they had a couple of winners, but they're going to be apparently having a little shutdown because they're concerned something might be going around the yard. So that's possibly why Autu and a couple of others, Epatome, might have performed below par. But yeah, I think this isn't a particularly strong renewal of this race. And Annie Mac, I know they hold in really high regard, and possibly her future might lie over further, but she's currently 11-2 in the betting. That price was available at the time of recording with Bet365, and I thought that was a huge price, and I think she should arguably be vying for favouritism. I think she should be around about 3-1 in my personal opinion, and I think the long straight at Doncaster will really suit her as well. I think there's a lot to like about her chances tomorrow, and I'll be disappointed if she couldn't go really close. So Annie Mac it is. She's going to be my nap of the day in the 145 at Doncaster. We then go to Leopardstown for an extra tip here in the 225 there. The Matheson Hurdle, Grade 1, basically the Irish Christmas champion hurdle kind of trial. And we're going to be seeing the return of St. Roy taking on Abacadabras. Now, if you've been following me the last couple of months, you know that I am in the St. Roy camp. I actually put him up on my series that I did start a few months ago called Loaders Lane to Cheltenham as my champion hurdle horse. Now, I'm sorry I haven't made any videos on that recently. I've just been so busy. So yeah, I'm hoping to get that back up and running. Hopefully do a couple of shows in January. But yeah, going back to St. Roy, I really think that this horse was really unlucky the last day at Punchestown in the Morgiana, where he didn't get the best of ride by Mark Welsh, but he didn't make life easy for Mark Welsh either. You know, he's quite keen. Haven't really seen that side of things with him before, but when he was coming there to make his challenge, getting towards the business end of the race, I didn't think Mark was at his finest there. So yeah, I think it was a mixture of things last time out, and I think Abacadabras was a really unlucky winner on the day. And personally, I think given more of a smoother ride, and if he'd settled a little bit better, St. Roy would have easily had the measure of Abacadabras, who I think was a fortunate winner. And I'm definitely confident that he didn't run up to his best there, St. Roy. So yeah, St. Roy, I think he'll overturn that form of Abacadabras tomorrow. Before that, he shown definitely a good level of ability. Obviously was a really impressive winner of the county hurdle at the Cheltenham Festival, and then returned to action in Grade 3 at Tipperary, winning that very stylishly. Okay, there wasn't too much to worry about, but he did the job very well, you know. And okay, yes, he was disappointing last time, but like I said, I think you can put a line through that run, and I think he'll be spot on tomorrow. Willie Mullins has said that they think he is their #1 champion hurdle horse, you know, and I just think there's lots more to come from him. And I think the track at Leopardstown will suit him as well tomorrow. There's going to be a bit of pace on, or some horses that like to go forward, so hopefully that will get him to settle. I think if he can settle, I think that straight at Leopardstown will really play to his strength. I think he'll do his best work late on, and I'm hoping he'll be able to get a clearer passage. And I think if he wins that tomorrow, I think he'll be nearly joint favourite with Epperton for the champion hurdle, you know, and hopefully then we'll have a real exciting division on our hands come the festival in March. So yeah, St. Roy, I'm hoping he can get the business done tomorrow. I think at 15-8 there is a little bit of juice in that price, and I think he could arguably be shorter come post time tomorrow. The one that would probably scare me the most is Aspire Tower. I'm not really scared of Abacadabras. He's not my kind of cup of tea, but I know he does have his fans out there, you know. But like I said, he's a horse that I've never particularly warmed to. So yeah, that's my thoughts and feelings on the Matheson Hurdle tomorrow, and that's going to be an extra tip for the day. We then end with my next best, which runs at Newbury in the feature race there, the Grade 2 shallow hurdle. This is always really a good novice hurdle in the season. Been won by some nice types in recent years. Time Hill also as well, Champ. So a nice race to look forward to. I think we're going to see a couple of nice horses on show tomorrow. But the one I'm going to be going with here as my next best is Stargate for Adam Wedge and Evan Williams. Now this horse at the time recording Stargate was available at 9-4, was actually, when I was just writing down my notes, 5-2, but he was quickly clipped in to 9-4, so if you can still get the 9-4, I do think this is good value. But Stargate, he's undefeated so far in his career. He won his point to point very easily when previously trained by Colin Bowe over in Ireland, and since he's come to Evan, he hasn't put a foot wrong. He won on his debut really well at Chepstow, where the form's worked out. The second place horse, Everglow, won a novice hurdle at Ascot the other week. Also as well, Tide Times, Ian Williams has won a race at Ascot. There's also as well quite a bit of form if you go down the field. So yeah, it was a good race he started out in at Chepstow, and then he went to Sandown in a free runner Grade 2 there, but he couldn't have done it more impressively. You know, that turn of foot he showed to go up the hill at Sandown was very, very impressive, and thus has earned him a really decent rating of 147. And you don't see too many horses when the ground is very testing at Sandown finishing very fast up that hill, and that's exactly what he was doing. And I just think that straight at Newbury tomorrow is going to play into his hands. Also as well, the ground shouldn't be an issue. It's going to probably take a little bit of guessing at Newbury tomorrow, but both his starts so far have been in testing ground, so no complaints there. And I really do think tomorrow, if he can win, he will definitely enter the ring, in my opinion anyway, and be near the top of the tree for the Ballymore. I'm hoping that's the place he's ultimately going to go, because I still think, even though yes, he will develop it into a 3-miler, I think he does have the pace and the gears for 2.5. So yeah, for me, Stargate all over him tomorrow, and I'm hoping he can get the job done for us there in the 3:15 at Newbury. So yeah, they're the 4 tips for tomorrow's racing. Let me know what you fancy tomorrow in the comments box below. I always like reading what you guys are going for. Also as well, if you're enjoying these videos, please remember to hit the thumbs up button. I really appreciate all the support, and don't forget to subscribe here to my YouTube channel at Lucky Loaders 15. If you want to follow me on social media, the best place to do so is on Twitter, where my handle is at Lucky Loader 15. And if you want to know a little bit more about myself, find out a bit of the portfolio of my work, my website is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk. So please game responsibly. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you soon.